Good morning. I, Khushbu Nathalia, Assistant Professor Law, welcome you all at CPJ College in the 4th National Law Festival, Law Fiesta 2019. And I have with me Mr. Sameer Rohatgi, who is here with us to grace the valedictory session. Sir, first of all, a very warm welcome. We are very pleased to have you for the valedictory.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Sir, how is the experience? What are you looking forward for the valedictory?
So first I want to say that one of the lovely things I found with regard to this fiesta is that apart from moot courts, you are also having paper presentations.
Yeah.
I feel that is something that has a twofold advantage. One, it gives every student opportunity to actually present his paper even if he is not part of a moot court and gets that stage time and that ability to present his research. The other thing is that it's actually informative and knowledgeable for those who are sitting in the audience.
Right.
Unlike other scenarios where only a moot court may not be that informative for people. But this is something which will genuinely be informative and you can learn on a varied array of topics. So I think that's a lovely thing that you have going here.
Sir, apart from a moot court and conference, we also have client counseling and judgment writing, as well as we had debate competition.
Correct.
So, what is...
I think what's very, very critical out of the lot from a practical point of view, because I practice in the courts every day, is client counseling. Because a lot of people find it hard to deal with clients.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, they don't understand the correct method, that you have to approach each client differently. Every case is different, every client is different. Some of them have a different way of talking, different way of explaining. You have to get information out of them. So, and that can be really, really detrimental or positive to your case.
Right.
Because if you're unable to get the correct information out of your client, to my mind, it's a failure as a lawyer, because a client is a layman. He doesn't know what he needs to give you.
Exactly.
It's your job to extract from him. So I think client counseling is something that is very critical and should really be encouraged, and I think you are doing that, so that's lovely.
All right, sir. And so, as a law student, what is the message you want to convey to them?
As a law student, the only thing I can tell them is that right now you are in the pre-war zone. Once you get out of law college is when the war begins, and that's the competitive world. We are in a very competitive society today. But the trick is to not lose sight of the fact that you should pursue what you like. If you pursue something that you don't like in this profession, you can never survive, because this profession requires you to be available 24/7.
Right.
So if it's not for you, take that call at whatever stage and get out and do something else. If it is for you, then jump into it head first. That's my only advice to them.
All right. And sir, also I would like to know, like today we see that the rate of the crime is increasing. The paper is flooded with all the reports on the subjects like these. So how do you see law as a career option for the students?
I think law as a career option from what it used to be in the 80s and the 70s has diametrically changed, because it used to be a fallback option in the 80s. If you talk to the generation of our parents and earlier, they'll tell you that it was a fallback option. But now law, I think, is a very, very lucrative option. It's an option that has a lot of money, glitz, glamour. It has, a lot of opportunity to be involved in various issues that are plaguing this country. Whether you want to be involved in it in a social way or a corporate way, it's up to you. So I think law is something which is very critical, and definitely people should take it up. The criminal justice system you mentioned definitely requires much reform. But I think the onus is on new students, lawyers, who will enter the system and thereafter, be responsible to bring about a change and suggest a change.
So we have talked a lot about the bar. So we need to talk a bit about the bench too.
Of course, always,
right?
Yes.
So today, apart from the bar, you have the bench also in the limelight, whether it's the collegiate system or the recent press release which happened and things like that. So what do you have to say about that? The transparency which we talk of, is it actually transferable? Can it be accountable?
So I'll tell you, there is how the way people perceive the judiciary is, and to my mind, which is the mistake, that people pit independence and accountability against each other.
Right.
Which to my mind is not the correct way of looking at it. Independence, accountability and transparency are the pillars on which our judicial system rests. None of them can be compromised, none of them should be compromised. I think we have a very, very vociferous and a very, very stable judiciary in this country. A few bad apples don't make the whole cart bad. You have bad apples everywhere. Judiciary is out of people of society, like everything else. So you will have some people who are against the exception, but I would say all in all, our judiciary is in a very good space. Of course, like every other system, transparency is required, sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Yeah.
They need to be a little more open. There are many steps they've taken now, especially the Supreme Court Collegium, in declaring a lot of things online.
Yes.
There are pros and cons to that, but I think the most important thing is that they need to experiment. It is only by way of experimentation that you will find out what is the best path, and I think we are on that path.
And sir, one last thing, the theme talks about transparency, accountability,
Yes.
justice, administration,
Yes.
challenges and solution.
Correct.
So what exactly is the challenge and what can be termed as a solution?
So, to my mind, it's a very broad area, but I'll give you a specific. I'll give you a specific part of it, because it's a broad area, so there's no point giving a generic answer. If you look at judges' appointments,
Right.
now there is a whole procedure where the judges who apply, the lawyers who apply, say for example those that are getting elevated from the bar,
Right.
lawyers that apply, their names are put up on the website. Everybody knows that these people have applied.
Exactly.
Now the pro to that is that it's transparent, but the con to that is that if that individual does not make it to the bench for whatever reason, it will always be possibly held against him, and it will be a question mark on him that he applied but he was not able to get through.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that is one of the biggest challenges with transparency, and the possible solution could be somewhat of a hybrid system where you may not disclose the name at an initial stage, but you disclose it at a later stage to something to that effect. But I think that's for the honorable judges to work out, which they will. But I think it's a good start.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir,
you very
and we are very pleased to have you here.
It's all my pleasure.
Thank you.